does so much that is unseen, including making our website alive.
Thank you so much for Thursday, because I know you took off work tonight.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you. Another day of prayer. So, today, I am speaking about as above, so below. You know, there's also a prayer that includes the same axiom. It's called the Lord's Prayer. And it has this little phrase, on earth as it is in heaven. This idea of the law of correspondence, as above, so below, is actually a very ancient axiom. It goes back to the mystery schools of Egypt, which were actually founded by a contemporary of Abraham called Hermes Trismegistus. I've practiced this how many times? Trismegistus, which means the thrice blessed. Later, he was deified into a god, into the messengers of the god, and even his symbol, the caduceus, is used today in medicine. When we think about the mystery schools and the ageless wisdom teachings, we want to think about the fact that all of religious philosophy is based on ageless wisdom. Now let's look at our tradition, Christianity. As I just said, Hermes was a contemporary of Abraham. It's actually thought that Hermes taught Abraham. So the mystery school tradition of Egypt was a part of the Jewish tradition. Abraham taught it, he understood it, he brought it to his tribes. Forward in time, Moses became a prince of Egypt. As a prince of Egypt, he would have been schooled in the mysteries of the priesthood. He was a priest. So the mystery schools of Egypt were part of, I wanted to record this, were part of the tradition of the Hebrews when they went from Egypt to where? Canaan, Jerusalem. Thank you. And so it was part of the Jewish tradition. Fast forward. Jesus is born. He is a rabbi. They called him Rebbe. As a rabbi, he would have been schooled in the mystery tradition, dating all the way back to the mysteries of Egypt to the master Hermes. So what we have here today is an understanding that there's a golden thread that runs through our tradition from Christianity to Judaism to the mystery schools of Egypt. And so as we look at that, we understand that there are universal principles or laws that were taught by Hermes, by Moses, by Jesus. And one of them is, as above, so below. Think for a minute about a double-sided mirror. Okay? You look up at the mirror, what do you see? Yourself. You look down at the mirror, what do you see? Macrocosm, microcosm. What you see contains all of what is. But also, as you get to know yourself, you know all. You know each other. You know God. Because each of us are faces of God. So as above, so below isn't a separate thing. It's a recognition of the reflection that we have looking at our God self. And that is such an easy and yet such a complicated idea to integrate into our lives. But let's think about another thing. When a scientist looks through the telescope, I almost said horoscope, through the telescope at the universe, has he actually been out in the universe? No. But because he can perceive the microcosm through the microscope, he can understand a bigger reality because he understands what it means when he sees a certain light. And that light knows no bounds, just like we know no bounds. And so as we look into the cosmos to understand God, we don't need to do that. We just need to look into the mirror and understand ourself. Within our very essence, within the smallest molecule of who we are, is God. So in order to understand the universe, you understand the atom. They look the same, energetically as well as physically. They go in a spiral, a circle, up and out and up and out. And so as we understand more about ourselves, we understand more about God, because that's what we're here to do, is to express those little pieces of God, so that God itself will understand him and herself, and God bless you. And so what we do when we begin to know ourselves is we begin to, what's some of the things we do when we start to know ourselves? What do we usually focus on? We usually focus on what's wrong with us, right? We want to change. We want to be better. There's nothing wrong with us. We're perfect exactly the way we are, where we are, when we are, how we are. And that's how we have to know ourselves first. It's in our perfection of what we experience. That is who we are. Because if we say anything less than that, we are denigrating God, our Father and Mother. Because God does not make mistakes. God did not create the Big Bang and go, oops. It was on purpose. And everything we do, we have to allow ourselves to own that we're doing it on purpose. We were not born by an accident, even if we thought we were. It wasn't an accident. Okay? You came through your parents exactly the way you were supposed to. So don't blame them. Okay? They allowed you to have this learning opportunity. You should praise them. Thank you. I'll get through this, but it's not your fault that I'm the way I am. It's my, not fault, but it's my mission. It's my opportunity for growth that you were generous enough to give me by birthing my physical body. And so as we look at as above, so below, and we look at as above, and we think, okay, God, I see the God in me, and I see the God in you, but how can I really know it? Remember, we believe. We have faith. But the faith becomes a known through experience. Through experience. We have to know, how do we experience God? How do we experience our perfection? How do we experience the oneness? Well, first, we have to acknowledge that we are one. We have to acknowledge that God is in everything, in everyone, in every, even that piano is God, because God is in everything. And sometimes we feel that when we listen to you, and we feel the joy in our heart, and that's what lifting your song in praise is all about, in joyful noise, as it's called, is because it helps to raise your vibratory frequency. So if you want to raise your frequency through song, through prayer, through affirmation, you can then affect the energy fields all around you for change or transformation. As above, so below means that you recognize in order to affect, change, transform the lower self, the lower kingdom, the lower part of our existence, we have to go up to the next highest level. So, let's talk about our levels of consciousness. We have a physical body. Right around the physical body, we have the etheric body. It's part of our aura. About another 3 to 6 inches out there is our emotional body, which is connected to the astral body. Another 3 to 6 inches, we have the mental body, which is connected to our thoughts. And beyond that is our spiritual body, which is connected to our soul and our soul purpose, and beyond to God. So here we have our 3 feet of personal space, filled with all these levels of consciousness, who is us. The reason that healing works is because it works on the next highest level from the physical body, which is the etheric body. So when you get Reiki or healing touch or prayer, or when we bless you, that is affecting the next highest level of the physical, and it allows you to heal yourself because it's giving you energy from the next highest level. If you want to change your experience in the physical world, then you go to your emotions next. And if you change your emotions, that changes the experience of your healing experience and your physical condition. Remember, emotion. You have to feel it in order to be it. Then, if you get those emotions under control, how many of us do, but once you're working with that emotional body, you go back out to the next level, which is your thoughts. The reason that thoughts don't change your reality is because a lot of times we believe that thoughts are things, we know this is true, but if we're thinking and thinking and thinking and affirming and we don't feel it, it's not going to manifest. So, those are the steps towards manifestation. Now, that can take lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And what we're reaping right now is what we've been sowing in all these lifetimes. Is the fact that we can even talk about this without being burned at the stake. And that's the beauty of the time we live in. Is the acceptance, the inclusiveness of who we are and who we are becoming. So let's talk about the spiritual level. Once we go, and we can go to all of these levels at any time. The beauty of it is, once we know it, feel it, believe it, and we manifest it, then we have another level to go up, to do it all over again. As long as we're in physical form, we're not done. And there will become a time in our evolution that we will have a choice. The ultimate choice. The final ecstasy of being absorbed back into God. Becoming one. As above, so below, becoming one on the physical plane has many different levels as well. Many different experiences between two people who are in love. Ecstasy, the joining, becoming one. That is just a minute experience of what it's going to feel like when we do that with God. That final ecstasy. But many people, many masters, many spiritual teachers choose not to do that, even though there's time for them, but to turn back as above, so below, and work with us from a higher level of consciousness. Our guides, our teachers, our angels, all have made that conscious choice to be with us so that we too can rise as above and get to that point. Do we absorb in the final ecstasy, or do we too turn back to serve? That's the ultimate as above, so below. The ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate to make sacred our lives, our existences, our understandings, is not to totally be absorbed back into the one, but to turn back and reach and bring another one with us. That's what we do every day. That's what we do every day when we smile at someone instead of frown. When we realize that they're not doing it to us. They're being unconscious is all. And so we need to love them. Even if they're not doing something we would like them to do. We're acknowledging us with our beauty and our perfection. We need to acknowledge them because we know about it. And as we do that, as we love them, as we appreciate them, then that energy changes between you. And you bring them with you. They may not know what hit them. Because you know what? You don't have to say a thing. You just have to beam to them. And so, as below, then so above. You reach up and bring it here and spread it around. Does that make sense? See, the idea, though, is to become aware of this every moment of our day. And I will tell you, I am great until I get in my car. And then it's like, okay, that's okay that he gets to the red light. That's okay that he beeps his horn at me because he wants to get to the red light first. That's okay. Let him pass me and get there first. And I have to tell you, I really should keep a tally. But how many times that happens? Somebody gets angry because you're not going fast enough, you didn't turn, and they zip in front of you, and then you see them at the red light right in front of you. It's like, how'd that work for you? All that emotion that was shot towards you, right? And it does nothing. That's what you call instant karma. But we are only responsible for us. So how did I respond to that guy? Did a certain digit come out of my fist? Or did I say, bless you? So we look at that, and a lot of times we're just on automatic, man. We just react. That's what these are for. We're ordering more positive thoughts for those that don't know. We have positive thought bracelets. And I already broke one. Because I was snapping it on a certain occasion a few weeks ago. This is my second one. So, hey, even Jesus got mad at the temple, so, give me a break. I am not Jesus. So, what, I'm half Italian. I've got a fiery temper. But also, now let's look at this. The fire is what? It's passion. So when you take that energy that sometimes comes out as anger and switch it around to passion, it then becomes inspired, and God can use it. The Holy Spirit especially likes this kind of energy, can use it in order to inspire and transmute that energy of anger into passion and love. So where we see in ourselves that we have these energies, where we see in ourselves that we have an ability to feel greatly, we know that we can transmute it into feeling greatly the power and the passion and the love of God. And there is nothing stronger than that. And so as we do this life walk, and we've had so many behind us, we've walked so many steps, we need to allow ourselves to have the perfection of our imperfection. The spirituality of imperfection. If you weren't striving to be better, there's no reason for you to be here. And it's a 24/7, 365 growing process. It is up to us to be conscious of it. No one else is going to do it for us. Maybe our mothers. But you know what? We're our own father and mother. Don't put that on your mother. Even if your mother wants to take it, the responsibility, don't allow her to do that. Say, thank you. Thank you. And then turn around and take responsibility yourself without getting agitated that somebody else is trying to tell you what to do. Because remember, we chose that parent and we chose this life experience. It's your thing. It's your responsibility, not theirs. But wouldn't it be great if someone told you what to do instead of tightening up? Thank you, that was such a great idea. Or, I'll think about that. Or that's something I hadn't thought about before. I have been thinking about that. Obviously, I need to think about it some more. Can we do that? How can we do that? We can do that by practicing. By practicing in our mind. Remember, taking it to the next level. That's the power of creative visualization. Is you think about how you're going to respond to when the next time that happens. Because trust me, the same things happen over and over and over again, right? I mean, pretty much. All right? What bothered me when I was 10, it still bothered me at 61. Some of it. But it's the degree. It's the degree that you allow it. So if you can see the reasoning behind it, and so someone says something to me that really can push a button, so I take that into meditation, into creative visualization, and I change the way I feel. I see the truth in it. I see the love in it. Remember this. Ponder on this. Those that give us the most challenges love us the most. When we were in spirit and decided to come back into incarnation, we had a list. And we found another soul that was willing to work with us on this list. And I'm reminded of the day I finally left my 25-year career in the fashion business because of a situation that happened with my boss then. And as I was going through months and months and months of forgiveness around it, all of a sudden, one day I realized that I said, and she said, I love you so much that you go down before me, you get your training, you do all that, and someday, if I do see you and you're still in the fashion business and not doing your spiritual work, I'm going to make your life so miserable and so inconceivably hard that you will have no choice but to leave that profession forever and do what you came to earth to do. Golly Moses, that's exactly what she did. It was just H-E double hockey sticks. And I walked out of that job one day, and I said, I can never go back to this career again. And that was the day my ministry was born. Because that woman loved me enough to make my life difficult. So difficult that I had to leave because it was no longer time for me to do that anymore. That part of my life was over. It gave me all the opportunities I needed. It was now time for me to be the minister I had trained for so long to be. So, look at the people that push your buttons the most and realize that they love you so much that they are pushing you to be better. It may not feel that way. But that's exactly what they do. And you pull that back now. Microcosm, macrocosm. And you look at the world. And we look at what's going on right now. I was listening to NPR, so it must be true. I was listening to NPR the other day, and they're talking, of course, about ISIS, ISIL, whatever you want to call it. And this guy had just written a book about how we are actually having less war in this time of humanity than ever before. It just seems that we are. When you think about the small group of people that these people are, it is not a majority. So we can change that. We need to send them healing. We need to understand that they are giving us the opportunity to see our shadow and to change it to light. So we pray, we meditate, we send light from the heart to those parts of the world that are experiencing this horrific physical reality, knowing that there is a spiritual purpose for even that. And what is that spiritual purpose? Is to make us conscious that we are responsible for the world today. We are responsible for the world tomorrow. And we are responsible for what has come before us, because we were there. And so as we look at today, the power and the purpose of why we are here and why this is happening, it's always happened. It's part of the Cain and Abel thing. We've always killed one another until we learn not to. Until we decide it makes no difference. Until we decide that living is more sacred than dying. And living in the light is more powerful than succumbing to the dark. And we that live in the light and strive to be in the light and know that we want to be the light are charged with sending our light to those people and loving them. Understanding them. They're misunderstood. They think that they have to do these horrific things for power and control. When really, whenever they do that, it makes people stronger, doesn't it? It makes people stronger. When we celebrated this week, what was beautiful is that 9/11 was our Unity Day of Prayer.
Yes.
What was beautiful about that is that there were people all over the world holding peace, holding prayer, holding wholeness. That was a beautiful day. And wherever we were, those of us that remembered it, and I was running around that day doing my usual stuff with weddings, but in my car, I could align with that energy. I could lift my thoughts up, come over to here where Francis was holding the vision, and be in that circle. And see, that's the power that we have. Because at some point in every day, there is prayer and meditation going on. And all you need do is lift your mind to it and affirm that you're connecting to it. Add your energy to that energy, and we will change the world. One thought, one heart, one feeling at a time. And so it is. And so, what I'm going to do today, since we are on the edges, the edges of Miss Judy, welcome. See what happens when you come in later, like you and George, is you get that, hello there. Glad to see you. That's right. Well, you know Reverend Nagy, she just kind of does that. Okay, so let us go in words and do some inner work. Today we're going to do our bubble of light as well as loving kindness meditation. And so uncross everything. Draw your attention inward by focusing on your breath. Be aware of it rising and falling in your chest. Breathe deeply, giving your body the mental command to relax, release, let go. And as we're breathing deeply and relaxing completely, we remember one of the most ancient forms of healing and concentration consists of imagining ourselves in the center of an egg or a ball of light, of divine light. And so as we sit quietly, we imagine a great star of loving, living light above our heads. Feel the streams of light washing over you, and invite it to enter the top of your head and wash down through your body like a river washes through the sand on the bottom. And as it does this, we affirm that it's carrying away any fatigue, fear, dis-ease, or negativity. And as all the darkness washes out of the bottom of your feet, imagine that it's taken in by Mother Earth and transformed into healing energy. You now spend some time washing away from any part of your body where there might be tension or pain or dis-ease. Breathing it in and washing it out. Now let the light wash clean the boundaries of your heart, revealing the inner light, which is your own true essence. And let that heart light shine more and more brightly, filling your cells and tissues and then extending even further beyond your body, through your etheric body, your emotional astral body, your mental thought form body, and into your spiritual soul body. 3 feet above, below, and on all sides, until you feel as if you're sitting in an egg of healing, protective light. And now, affirm that all positive thoughts, prayers, and intentions from others will penetrate this egg of light and reach you. All positive thoughts and prayers and intentions from others from without will be able to come to you. But any negative influences, thoughts, intentions will bounce back off this egg of light, and a blessing be returned to their center. And again we affirm all positive thoughts and prayers from without yourself, from others, from the world, from situations, will penetrate this egg of light. But any negativity will simply bounce off and bless the source of that negativity. And another breath. Seeing yourself within this egg of light, affirm that all of your positive thoughts, your own thoughts and feelings, will reach through this light to others. And any negative thoughts you may have will bounce back off the inner shell of light. And a blessing of compassion will return to awaken your heart to love. Again, affirm that all positive thoughts that you generate will go through this egg of light, but any negative thoughts will bounce back off of it within the inner shell, and a blessing of compassion will return to you to open your heart even more. And now, imagine the star of living light expanding into a circle of light all around you, and into which you call those to be blessed by name, your loved ones, other people, those who are in conflict with, blessed by name, imagining them as fully as possible, seeing them too as light beings. And affirm to them, may you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all beings. And then back again to taking responsibility for our own actions. We look to ourselves. May I be at peace. May my heart remain open. May I awaken to the light of my own true nature. May I be healed. May I be a source of healing for all beings. Take a breath and see our beautiful planet as it appears from out in space, a delicate jewel hanging in the starry vastness. Imagine the Earth surrounded by light. The green continents, the blue waters, the white polar caps, the two-leggeds and four-leggeds, the fish that swim, the birds that fly, those that creep and crawl. Earth, a place of opposites. Day and night, good and evil, up and down, male and female, but spacious enough to hold all. And we offer these blessings. May there be peace on earth. May the hearts of all people be open to themselves and to each other. May all people awaken to the light of their own true nature. May all of creation be blessed and be a blessing to all that is. Rest, feeling the peace, the joy, the love. And so it is. And we allow ourselves to put our hands together, palm to palm in front of our heart, raising it from our heart to our heads as we affirm the Hindu word for peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May peace prevail on earth. Take a breath. And slowly and gently open your eyes. Allow your eyes to fall on the person next to you, recognizing their divinity. Thanking them for their presence. And now, if you would take your offering. And allow yourself to hold it in the middle of your palms. Realizing that what we are doing at this time is sharing the love of God, the abundance that is ours. And let us say the offertory prayer together. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. And for those of you that are new, the Abundance Celebration song is in your bulletin.
I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share faith with me. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Knowing my oneness with everything